we will go ahead and get started. My name is Shanita Newton, and I am the creative director of Newton Creative Consulting. First of all, happy Tuesday to everybody. It is the first Tuesday of the month, and I'm just excited to be here with you all. Today, we are going to be discussing living authentically, and I'm so excited to be able to just share just what not just what the Lord's given me, but just one of our really great friends. Just to give you a little bit of background information, I own Newton Creative Consulting, where we help entrepreneurs and creatives to elevate their branding to the next level through web and graphic design. I do branding consulting, and like I said, I'm just really excited to be here. I am a Augusta native, and I am a daughter. I am a mother. I am a friend and a sister. And I'm just excited to be here. So thank you so much to Tonia for having me, for thinking about me to host, because I ain't never done nothing like this, but I'm excited for the opportunity. So moving right along, I want to introduce my really great friend. She's my sister, and she's my actual cousin, Mrs. Tika Jenkins. She is the executive director of I call it the C4.
She's the only one who calls it that, yeah.
Right. I'm the only one. It's the Columbia County Community Connections. And she works to connect families with grant-based resources. And she does an amazing job at that. She is an amazing public speaker. She is a philanthropist. She is a beautiful soul. And her take on living authentically has just to be able to witness her live authentically inspires me continuously to live my truth. So I'm excited to be able to have her on the line. There's so many other things I could say about Tika professionally and personally, but I love her, and everybody needs a Tika in their corner because she really is an amazing friend.
I'm so embarrassed. Thank you. Make me blush.
That's the truth.
You're so sweet. I just love you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess without further ado, I guess we can just roll into questions. Now, during this conversation, we are going to be sharing some of our truths, some things that we absolutely love about ourselves, those things that aren't the characteristics about ourselves we love the most, but they're all a part of what makes us unique and authentically ourselves. And so we will give you the space to be able to jump in the conversation and chat and share those things with us also. Just to let you know a little bit, do you want me to go ahead and tell mine, or do you want to just do the questions, Tika?
I want you to go ahead and tell yours, and we'll go after that.
Okay. So for me, living authentically is really living what your truth is. I think in a world where that is so loud, that tells us who we should be and what we should look like, who we can and can't love, where we should and shouldn't spend our hard-earned money. It's important to know that you are worthy, that you are valued, that you are loved in your imperfections, and your imperfections doesn't exclude you from the worthiness of being loved. You're worth being loved and being yourself, just because that's the way God made you. And in my case, it took a while for me to come to terms with living my truth. That's one of the reasons why something I want to talk about today, is because it took me a while to become comfortable in my own skin. And it's something that I make a daily choice to do. So it's not even just like a light switch you flip it on, like, you know what? Now I'm walking in my authenticity. I'm being my true self. I feel like it's a collection of choices that you make every day to live authentically and to live your truth, regardless of how others feel about it, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I will jump in if that's okay, Shanita. So, hello, everyone. Good evening. And I'm so happy that I have the opportunity to speak. Miss Tonia, what an awesome program that you have, an awesome podcast. So thank you. Let me just tell you guys a couple of things first. If you hear some cocoa melon in the background, as I told the ladies earlier, I apologize. I'm a mom, a new mom again for the second time with a gap in between, was at 13 years. So this is also new. And today is the day that she's fretful for the first time in almost 11 months, right? And so I'm having to hold her and coddle my sweet baby. So please forgive me. But you guys know,
She's
as
so
females,
sweet.
we run, oh, she's precious. Thank you. She is, but she's different right now, being in my arms constantly. As you all know, as females, we can wear several hats. And so just, I would ask for your grace and your patience with her on today. But thank you all for joining. Shanita just, honey, I don't know who you was talking about. Sound like me, but I don't know if that was me. I absolutely love Shanita, and I thank God for Shanita. You didn't tell them who you are to me. You said some amazing things, but you didn't tell the people that when I was in that spot known as RB, rock bottom, that you took a chance on me as a manager. So of course, we'll get to that a little bit later on, but she chose to manage me when I had absolutely nothing. This is the power of belief and the power of having faith in someone else. So we'll get to that story in a bit, but we are going to do a bit of an icebreaker with you guys because Shanita and I believe in breaking the ice so that we can, before the seed can get sown, we know we need to break up the fallow ground a little bit. So there is a chat feature. I don't know if you are on your phones or if you are on your PC, but the chat features where we're going to ask you to place your response to the questions. Is that right, Shanita?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we wanted to start with you talking about you, and I will answer what does it mean to live authentically after we get this icebreaker done. But we want to know, what do you absolutely love about you? What do you love about, like, what's so great about being Tonia? What's so great about being Stacy and Tasha? What is so great about, oh, yes, Tiffany said
Yes,
everything. Yes, honey.
Come on.
With the snap. Yes, Tiffany. Tiffany says everything. Okay, y'all got to top that. So she's already responded. We couldn't even finish the question. So we want to know, that's one. I think we said two. Yes. Was it two things that you really love about yourself?
Two things.
So if you guys can begin, you got to beat Tiffany. She's already jumped to the chat, but
Tonia said, my confidence and my style. Yes, I agree with Tiffany.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I got to turn this up. Everything. Okay, guys, let's see here. And Lonnie's waving. Okay. Tara said that she loves her heart and her power of discernment.
I love Tara's heart too.
It is big. I do agree.
My love and my heart and my parenting skills is what Lidra said.
Okay, Lidra, parenting skills. Tell me what to do about this baby right now. Okay. Miss Betty said the spirit of happiness and my love for people. I agree. God, oh my God, Miss Betty Kelly. You guys don't know Miss Betty Kelly. Miss Betty Kelly is, oh God, her spirit is amazing and it's completely contagious. I totally agree, and I'm thankful for your love of your people.
And then Stacy said my creativity and my integrity. Okay, yeah.
Stacy, love the creativity. See that Mariana just jumped in. Mariana, we were talking about, if you don't mind, listing two things that you love about yourself. I'm going to go ahead and ask you that, Shanita. And what are two things that you just absolutely love about Shanita?
Well, it took me, I had to think about it. Like I said, I'm making this active choice to do it every day. So mine are, I am pretty funny. Like when I'm comfortable, you know, yes. I am hilarious.
You really are, yeah.
And then I like a good challenge. And I love the fact that, you know, I find myself rising to the occasion. You know, it's funny because you don't really know how strong you are. You don't know how much you're able to persevere until you have to.
Listen.
And I admire that about myself.
Okay. You better brag on you. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the chat? Okay.
Let's see. Yes.
My acceptance of others' truths and my decision to follow my visions instead of goals. Oh, excuse me. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I agree. You're definitely welcoming of others and without judgment, which is a beautiful thing. So visions instead of goal. Ooh, we've got to like
Mhm.
kind of unpack that. So, all right, you know, I love language. Very, very good. Very good. Um, Again, if there's anyone else if you want to put that in the chat. For me, what I love about being Tika is my ability to empower other people, like to motivate. It's, man, I love it. I love when I can see the gift in someone. I'm like, hey, you sis, you are fabulous at this. Or like, why aren't you building this? This is you all day long. Told that doggone Shanita, honey, you are produce. Why don't you produce me something? One of these, you know, and here we are today. It was just so oddly how it all happened. She's, and I see just producer vibes. I get that too. Of course, an ace, someone who can wear so many hats. Let's see. The other thing, I love my ability to be objective and to actually seek counsel. I don't know if that's because I've gotten older, but I do now. I definitely love speaking to people who have more wisdom and insight. I think that's a good thing.
That's beautiful, Tika.
Thank you, my dear.
And
And
ladies, I'm gonna interject just real quick, and I'm gonna get off because my class starts in about 15 minutes. But I just wanted to share this conversation is so timely and so on point. And I said earlier, you might not have saw the live video. I go live 30 minutes prior to Tuesday Talks, just to remind everybody. But in it, I said that at the age I am and the point of my life that I'm at, I live unapologetically.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what people think, how they feel. At the end of the day, as long as God is okay with me, I'm okay with me. And so, and it
Mhm.
took me years to get here. It really did, because you're always fed that you have to conform, you have to do this, you have to be like that. But when you finally get that freedom to be who you are and who God created you to be, that's the best feeling in the world. And you will not go back. You will not allow people to put restraints on you, to put convictions on you that aren't your convictions. Because just because you're convicted by something doesn't mean I'm convicted by something. And
Right.
so I've learned that in my 50 years on this earth, and it took a while to get here, but thank you for hosting. Thank you for being a guest, Tika. You guys have a fabulous conversation. I look forward to watching the reel afterwards as it's posted to the YouTube page. And I'm so glad for the conversation. And I hate I'm going to miss it in person, but I got to get to class. So thank you guys. But I'm going to leave this up for the recording. And yeah, I can't wait to see what the results are.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Have a
Thank
great
you,
class, and
Tonia.
thank you again for just thinking of me and thinking of us to host for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Take
yeah.
care, Tanya, and congratulations. I guess my echo, well, echo the sentiments of Tiffany's. 2 snaps. Yes, live authentically. Okay, I see that Mariana said, she jumped in, her love for others and giving spirit. Yes, my dear, your love is amazing, and I love your giving spirit as well. Thank God for those things, Miss Mariana. Okay, so of course, you guys know we can't do the positive without maybe dabbling a little bit into, you know, something that's not so positive. So if you all don't mind, I don't want to necessarily say what you hate about yourself or what's negative, but what areas do you find a little bit challenging about you? What's challenging about being Tasha? What's challenging about being Betty? And we're going to put that in the chat as well.
See.
For clarity, is this for other people or for us?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. I think it could be for, you know, like something about you that you know it's, oh, I hate to use the word issue, but it's a challenge. Something like your procrastination. Your procrastination could be a challenge for you and for other people. So just, you know, but more so for you. Tara says, letting people in and letting go.
Mhm.
Okay. Tasha says balance and boundaries.
Yeah. Boundaries was an issue for me for a while.
Betty says weight loss and being competitive.
Too
Working on the
forgiving.
weight. Lost now. And all of the above, huh? Okay, Lidra. Tara says she too. With the, okay, is it with the weight loss and the being competitive? Mariana says such a planner and just can't jump without planning. What about you, Shanita?
Excuse me, boundaries aside, which is something that I'm definitely working on because as an entrepreneur, I had to go ahead and put those in place. But I guess other than that is really, it took a while for me to, and it's still something that I consciously work on, is try to make sure that I make other people feel comfortable. And it sometimes would be to my detriment, and which is something that I recognized about myself through therapy, that it's not my place for you to feel comfortable. Are we still doing fireworks, y'all, for real?
Oh God, you sure that was a firework?
But it's not my place to make others feel comfortable. I I I lost my husband in 2019, and even shortly after his passing, I is when I really realized that I go out of my way to make other people feel comfortable, even when it doesn't, when I'm not obligated to, when it doesn't suit me well, and when I should really take better care of myself in that regard. And so I started to.
Wow, that is very deep. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing, Shanita. So of course, we're going to explore that a little bit more as well. Time is fine. We have a Davia in. Let's let
But
Davia in.
hold on.
Okay, Stacy says, my loyalty to people that no longer deserve it. Absolutely, absolutely. Leitra said, I am also a people pleaser, which can be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Tiffany says, there is no blessing in people pleasing. And I think we learned that, it's like a life, it is such a life lesson, just getting that of understanding, you know what? You don't have a heaven or a hell to place me in. So I need to do this for me, need to figure this out for me and be okay with that. My challenge, one of my challenges is, so as you were speaking, Shanita, I thought of this quote that is a part of it. It says that, your playing small does not serve the world. And I think sometimes I do that a lot too, because I just don't like the accolades. I don't want the pats on the back. I don't want all that, because I feel, and my fear, I've learned it was a limiting belief that was keeping me from walking in like, hey, let me tell you guys what I'm doing. Let me let you all celebrate with me. My limiting belief is that I can't live up to that standard for people. So it's ultimate another form of people pleasing. Like, yeah, I may be doing some great things. I really don't want to say anything because I don't want y'all to hold me up to a higher accord, because I just might fail, so a level of it.
See, I would say that is a part of that is this thing called imposter syndrome, where you don't even really feel like you're gifted at what you're really gifted at doing. You feel like when you put yourself out there that people and be like, that's all right.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something I wrestle with too, just because you always want whatever you produce to be perfect, right?
Absolutely.
It ain't gonna get that way if you don't start.
No, not at all. Not at all, sis. So with you saying that, the imposter syndrome, oh God, yeah, so you're going to unpack that a little bit too, because we got like 7:30 is coming so fast. Who told the clock to keep speeding up? I'm going to get to the initial question that Shanita mentioned about what does it mean to live life authentically. And so again, we're so thankful that you guys are all tuning in to talk about it. To me, what it means to live authentically, I believe, is that you tap into that part of your person, that part of your being, which is the soul. And our soul is that ancient portion of our body, that part that's been around forever. As you may hear some people say, oh my God, that child has an old soul, or, like, oh, he's been here before, something like that. When you tap into the portion of your soul and you allow your personality, who you are, who God chose, who you were created to be on this earth. And when those two link up, I think then is when you live an authentic life and you walk in authentic power, and you're able to really operate in all of the giftings that God has for you. So that's my, I guess, in short definition of how to live authentically, or what it means to me.
What brought you to the point where you decided that you wanted to live more authentically? Or I don't know if it was like a series of events, or was it just, how did you make the decision, or did you make the decision to live more authentically, or did it just kind of develop?
Ooh, that's a good one. It definitely was like an issue in life occurred. As I mentioned earlier, RB, rock bottom. I nicknamed my bottom place RB. So when I hit rock bottom, that experience teaches you like none other. And I believe when I kind of got to a place of losing everything, that I was like, oh my God, life is short and life is truly fleeting. So you have to make a decision if you're going to get the most out of it, or if you're going to, continue to be this machine that these systems have been put in place for us, how our world works. Are you going to be a victim of the machine, or are you going to really just live your best life, the life that you are supposed to live? As you and I were going over what was Re-Me again, Shanita just asked me earlier today about Re-Me, because that's a part of another movement that we started a long time ago. And I was like, man, thank you for that, because I really forgot to, what is Re-Me? And Re-Me, which is short for Reinvent Me, is all about getting back to the you who you were originally. So it's founded on Romans 12:2, which speaks about not being conform to the patterns of this world, but being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so the Greek word for the renewal is anakinosis, which means to get back to the original self, the original you. Like there was a you that God created you to be before you clocked in and started worrying about all this BS in life, before you started worrying about bills and what people think of you and, what achievements you have or don't have. There was a me without limitations, and that was created. And so Re-Me is all about getting back to that person, your rightful personhood.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. And so is that when you developed Re-Me? It was when you hit the RB?
Yeah, Re-Me and RB went hand in hand. Yeah, that was it, because it came with a lot of questioning. At rock bottom was like, why me? Why am I here? I'm out here thinking I'm trying to do the right thing, and I was walking away from the work life and really starting my own. And I'm like, why would this just fail? I'm doing this for you, God. I was very self-righteous. And so the authentic life also came with me having a hard look at myself and realizing how, if I could use quotations, how churchy I was. Like I realized I knew God, but I didn't really know God. I knew him because of that Sunday morning going here and going there, but I didn't know him rightfully in my relationship. And it took me, and I don't know about anybody else, but maybe I'm a hard-headed child. And sometimes, I had to learn by my butt getting, a couple little spankings or something. And I got it, right? I started like, oh, okay, let me learn to seek you first. And let me learn to find this out first. And, so it gave me clarity in a different way. Mm-hmm. And I began to start searching out the authentic, let me not use that word because I'm not good at it. Help me somebody. Authenticity. Did I say it right? Yeah. See, I'm learning. I'm not too prideful not to ask for help. Thank you, Tara. Tara is my English professor. So um, when we talk about authentically living, I know you asked me about some steps. I think you need to always have people who will hold you accountable. You know, people who will check you, people who will compliment you, but also people who will check you. And as Tara gave that big thumbs up, she is one of those, one of my checkers in my life. Just a shout out.
Um, yeah, I thank you so much for your testimony because I feel like everybody has an RB. And a lot of times we feel like we are the only ones that that have experienced a obstacle or a challenge or a loss that shakes us, and it's and you find comfort and community in knowing
Mhm.
that you ain't the only one.
Ain't that the truth? But listen, you're not. And we need that as women. I think we need those safe spaces.
Mhm.
And we have to create them with each other. And you have to have that sister girl that you can say, hey, listen, I am hurting in this area. And, I know Mariana, I've been friends for over 13 years. And um, where even this new path I walk now with being a newly married woman again, I was once married and divorced and now married again. I was like, I want to do it right this time, sis. And I need some accountability. So check me, talk to me, tell me what I need to know. Having people that are in your corner, but yet that can check you, although they're in your corner. That's big. For me, sis, what do you think? What are some of the steps or some key factors that you use and still, you said today, you remind yourself daily to live authentically. You give yourself permission to do so. But what are some steps that you use or some keystones?
Excuse me. So I employ these things called the 3 R's.
Oh,
One is to refuel and make sure just I
yes.
take care of myself,
Yes.
and just I offer myself self care, not
So
to
good.
wait, but to create that time in my schedule to just unplug, decompress, and focus on just sitting silent with me, um, which is not which is not necessarily an easy thing to do, especially when you have a household to run. I'm telling you, I only got one kid, and, and he had me jumping until he goes to bed exactly at 9 o'clock every night. He cannot sleep past that because I need my me time. But one of those things is just refueling and taking care of my mind and my body. I started working out more, and I'm y'all inspired by Tiffany, who be posting her
Get it,
videos in the morning.
Tiffany. Okay.
Um, but I try to go to the gym, and I just take time out to take care of myself. I try to prepare more meals for myself at home versus eating out, but just self care. And then I try to make sure that I stay connected and reconnect with
Hmm.
those that are closest to me that are part of my village. I just try to be intentional about those relationships, um, because it's important for me to be in relationships that we're mutually beneficial to each other,
Great.
so that I can love on them and they love on me, and that's in whatever kind of relationship.
That's good. That's good.
Um, and I would say the last thing is just uh, making sure that I realign my mind through positive affirmations and making sure that I read and just equip myself and empower myself through knowledge. So
Ooh.
yeah, that's difficult too, because again, you only have 24 hours in a day, which is actually can be a large amount of time if you manage it right. So
Very good. Very good. Kudos to you with the whole fitness journey. And shout out, I want to follow Tiffany for this inspiration. So let me, y'all, send that to me at the end. I'm trying to get myself back, trying to like Stella got her groove back. I'm trying to get my groove back. My husband is really big into fitness, and I'm just sitting over here like, the Snickers bar looks really amazing, and so do these chips. So, but I'm happy to see that, Shanita, just to see that you're dedicated. And I believe for me, that was a big space for my authentic life when I was, when I first jumped out initially, because when you're out here trying to get this work, you don't necessarily have contracts right away. The one thing I realized, man, I may not have the contract or bringing the money in, but I do know how to put my feet on the ground. I know how to get out and walk and run and talk to God and to meditate and to pray and just to try to figure some things out. Why not get fit while I'm trying to figure it all out right now? I don't have what I think I need, but at least let me figure out how to take care of this body, because at the end of the day, we do owe it to ourselves to take care of these vessels. We only get one, and it is totally up to us to make the most of it. You said something else that was key to me about the relationships and reaching out to people. I'm so blessed to be on that other end as one of your people, that when you're like, hey girl, like, let's go to lunch, or we need to go, we haven't been out to eat in a while, and it's never anything, it's never, I don't feel like as my friend, as my sister cousin friend, manager, that I don't feel like there's ever any pressure, and I think that's important too. When you're dealing with people, you want to be in circles and you want to be in spaces where there's no pressure. Like, I can just come and be me, and I don't have to be on. Like, I don't have to be turned on. I know we got a couple of therapists on here. I think from what I can see, about 3. And I'm sure you guys get people wanting that therapy from you all the time. But sometimes you're like, hey, I just want to be Tasha. I don't want to be, I'm off. I don't want to be the therapist today. I don't want to talk about your issues. Can we talk about what happened last night on Love and Hip Hop? So, just being honest with people. Tiffany says she is always on. Tiffany, it's never, no time. Okay, Tiffany, we gotta talk about that, Tiffany. Goodness.
I mean, she is always on though, because I
Always.
heard you like, hey, what you have to say about this?
Amazing. Well, at least we know that you're getting refilled some kind of way, because I mean, obviously you have to. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. All right.
But I had a question for
Go for it.
you. Oh, so going back to, for those who want to live a more authentic life, what are some steps or some actionable things that we can do? And this is for anybody who wants to jump in after Tika. What are some things that, as women, especially as African American women, that we can do in our everyday lives to make those choices to live a more authentic life?
Very good. Steps. As you know me, I'm such an action-oriented person. So the first thing that comes to my mind, it may be the first and the last, is do it. Do it, do it, do it. Doggone it, jump in. What are you waiting for? As Shanita was speaking about the imposter syndrome, that sometimes we're waiting to be perfect. I think it was Les Mills. No, I can't say his name right all the way. But anyway, he mentions, you have to, before you can be great, you have to start. So, just starting is half the battle. And yet I believe it's all of it at the same time. So what you will find is when you take that first step, into walking into your authentic power. And let me just go ahead and preface what I was talking about earlier also comes from a book that I find it's very incredible it's helped me on my journey. It's by Gary Zukav, the Seed of the Soul. Really good book, and just talks about just understanding, the soul and how to live authentically. But I would say, number one, jump in, do it. And secondly, just make sure that you are intentional, that you're very clear on what are your intentions. And, when I don't know what your self-talk is like, guys, but my self-talk is so doggone positive. It's like a little Tiffany on the inside of like how she was 2 snaps. I'm sorry, I got to get off this in a minute, but she came through with the, all that energy. So your self-talk has to be absolutely amazing and positive. In my mind, I always hear myself say, and excuse the grammar, but there ain't nothing you can't do. Like, y'all, really, that's how ain't nothing I can't do. There's nothing I can't do. And on top of it, as I also told Shanita, one of my favorite quotes, Tasha, this quote, we can do it because we can do hard things. Okay, that's a GTI quote, but it's definitely the truth. But we can do it because we can do hard things. Talk to my staff about that constantly, making sure that you understand. Yeah, it may be hard, it may be challenging, but you can do it. You can do this thing. Those are my three. There's nothing major. I wish I had something that was great and mighty, but that's all I got. Who else wants? Hmm?
I said, no, that was awesome. I especially what was the last one you gave us?
We can do it because we can do hard things.
You can do hard things. And it even if it
Hard
hurts,
things.
even if it's something that you don't particularly want to do, doesn't mean it can't be done. And
Oh, come on, that's a good word.
you've been equipped for every good work that you have here on this earth. So
That's your quote. It's a quote that you said a long time ago. I'll say this too, guys, just as a nugget. Sometimes some, people speak, and I believe it's God, it's the universe that speaks to us through people. You pay attention to that particular statement. I think that's one that you said one day, and I went and immediately posted it on Facebook because I said, this is profound. Like, I can hear my baby talk, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was profound. And I'm talking about 13-year-old baby. But yeah, again, do it, make it happen. And as I know I have a friend on right now who is, I won't put her business all the way out there, but I know she's starting a business. She literally was like, listen, I'm tired of working for these people. I'm about to make this thing happen. I'm about to jump out and get it. So shouts out to you, sis. And I'm happy that you are about to do that. But as Shanita said, do you guys have anything, your steps? How do you live authentically?
you can unmute. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
tip. Go for it.
Hey, I'm so happy to be a part of this. This is awesome. I won't take up too much time, but I bask in authenticity. That's why I'm always on. I don't ever miss an opportunity to help someone gain their authenticity, because if I miss that moment, I'm accountable to that. So that's why I'm always on.
Very good.
And it's who I am. I wrote down some tips because I am a therapist, and this is what I do. So I write notes. I always tell people to teach what you practice. That's authentic, because if you teaching me something you practice, it will forever be free flowing for you, and I'll connect to it.
Oh, good.
It's all about connecting. People connect to you because of your authenticity. They love it. It exudes you. And that's what you want your authenticity to do. And you can do that by spending quality time with yourself. It's not about the quantity of it. It is the quality. It's that 2 minutes in the car. It's that walk. It's that cooking or cutting those onions. It's those little moments that we take for granted, which we should focus on strengthening those, and those create that authenticity that we want. It connects us with the universe. It just frees us up. So don't minimize those little moments that you have with yourself. Find a healthy and positive way to cope. We don't know how to cope with anything. That's not a taught skill. It is something that you can learn. So learn how to cope with things, dealing with daily challenges. Every day we have a challenge, but look at that challenge as an opportunity and not as a challenge. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from that? And that will help you strengthen your authenticity. Evaluate yourself 100%. No holds barred, because our accountability partners may be on vacation. And so we got to know how to scale ourselves and say, I need to check this. I need to self-auto correct. How do I need to do that? And my last one is be accountable and responsible for your actions, because what you put in the universe comes back to you. And you want to make sure you are putting good, authentic energy out so that you get good, authentic energy back. So just know that you already have everything you need. You're great. You're great when you wake up. So, hey, I woke up today, I'm great. And okay, how am I going to continue to move throughout this greatness through the rest of my day? And I'm going to be authentic to that. If something is ugly, say it's ugly. If your friend don't look good in them jeans, tell them. Be that
honest. Yes, goodness.
And then I'm going to be quiet. That's what we miss in our society. Everything is, girl, you got it going on. No, you don't.
Yes, Tiffany.
Thank y'all.
Yes, I love it. Thank you, Tiffany. Oh, yes. I feel like she read some of my notes. I don't share the rest of them. No, Tiffany, absolutely. I mean, oh my God, you said about oh God, and sometimes when your accountability partners are off, they're on vacation. Can you check yourself? Do you have the ability to say, yeah, no, girl, no, you know that was wrong. Yes, you're so on target. Thank you for that. And I love all that energy. Carla just got in the inbox. Can you see what she says?
Just own your truth and always being true to yourself.
Oh, what does that even look like, Carla? Owning your truth and always being true to yourself. Do we really lie to ourselves?
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? I didn't expect to speak. I was just
you're okay. You're okay, Carla.
When she was saying what did she say? It was like the next to the last one or the last one. Something about being about truth. But anyway, the point is for me, and holding myself accountable is just always being true to myself, because oftentimes, you know, in interacting with people and life and work and just everything, even my daughter, you know, you can't be honest with yourself or how you feel about yourself and whatever that is, or how you feel about that action. How are you going to ever be honest with anybody else or anything else? So in my life, in the journey that I'm on in life, it all starts with first being true to me.
Yes.
And then once I do that, you know, okay, now that I know this is what it is, now how am I going to deal with this or moving forward? You know, does that make sense? And whatever that is in relationships and love and whatever, you just have to be true to yourself. You know, how do I truly feel about this job? How do I truly feel about this relationship with this man? How do I truly feel about my daughter going 5 hours away for college? You know what I'm saying?
Come on, Carla.
And then once I do that, then I can say, okay, now that I know I cannot stand her going to school 5 hours away, how am I going to deal with that? You know?
Very
So,
good.
and that's just an example, but I ever since I've come to that realization, because, you know, I've been through quite a tumultuous time over the years in my life, and, you know, just the peace that I found, and it's in doing things like that, you know, come to terms with how I feel about every and anything in my life, and really, really accepting it. And then deciding if I want to change it, do I like the way it is? Because oftentimes you'll find, if you really think about it, we don't know how we feel about stuff. That's the problem. You don't know how to deal with it, because you don't even really know how you feel about it. So that's just all I was saying. It was something based off what Tiffany said. I just can't remember which one, because I was kind of half sleepy, but I was listening. And in that part, when she got on, it really woke me up. And I said, let me say my little part. So anyway, sorry,
awesome.
y'all.
No. Yes, thank you for sharing, Carla. I like that. We have to know, how do we feel?
Can I chime in?
Get it, Miss Tasha.
Okay. So there is a quote for anybody who watches any Marvel movies with Thor, and it was in the Avengers. And Thor's mom says, everyone fails at who they're supposed to be, right? And so the whole purpose behind that, it actually kind of touched Ms. Tico on what you were saying earlier about people's expectations of you, and how a lot of times we're trying to measure up to what we think we're supposed to be or who we think we're supposed to be. And you're gonna fail at that if you're not being authentic with who you actually are versus who you are expected to be or who you think you're supposed to be.
Yes.
And so I think that that's connected a lot to expectations. And people ask me about my life all the time, and I say this and they always laugh, but I mean it. I have very low expectations of myself, because people often have expectations and they don't understand where they come from. They don't understand why they're there, but what they constantly experience is that they feel like they can't live up to them. And I just don't intend to live my life that way. So I celebrate myself. I don't have high expectations. What feels like little achievements, I'm going to have a reward. I'm going to celebrate. Yes. I'm going to have a party. I'm getting M&Ms with my face on them. I mean, low expectations, because once I started to question expectations that I did have and expectations that other have of me, I realized I didn't intend to meet those.
Mhm. I love it. Yes, ma'am. And thank you. Thank you so much. Beautiful. I just love y'all. I love all of this. Absolutely. Say that quote. What was the quote again? Tell me the quote again.
Um, something along the lines
Thor's
of
Thor's mama said it. What?
it was something along the lines of everyone fails at who they're supposed to be.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for sharing. Um, ooh, yes, Shanita.
What Tasha said. How awesome would it be if our children grew up not living authentically? Because, well, first of all, I won't tell the story about my son, but he is at an age.
You should tell it.
He speak his truth. He gonna tell you what he see, okay? And it doesn't matter if it hurt your feelings. It doesn't matter if you're like, well, dang, you ain't have to tell mama her breath stink. We just woke up. He tells you how he feels. And I admire that so much about him. And it took me such a long time to realize that I wasn't living my truth. You know, you just kind of get along to get along. You go along and
Yeah.
you live what other people think that that is the right job for you, or that is the right relationship for you. And I was starting to fail at being who I was supposed to be.
Bingo.
And the Lord told me for a long time, he was like, yeah, right?
Listen, don't you just love him? Like he's so good. And sis, may I, let me interject, because my father is a pastor. And, we're from a little small town. He's a pastor, preaches, and, all that wonderful stuff. And so people are like, oh gosh, you're just like your daddy. You just like your daddy, And so, and my mom, like, yeah, I am. I'm just like my dad. So I remember going into the pulpits and stuff. And I'm like, I got to be just like my daddy. And I like to get into my word and to study. And I remember going on that mission of becoming a licensed minister. And it's funny, I think Ms. Betty, you and I were talking about this maybe just last week. And I realized I love to empower people, but I was like, I like to cuss a little bit too. So I don't know how that really works. Am I okay to be in the pulpit? And sometimes my tongue might get a little slick, because if I feel like I need to get my point across, I need to have a little seasoned language for you. And that's not something, oh, Uncle Herb, oh, excuse me, Uncle Herb.
Dazzle with it.
That's right, Carla. Little razzle dazzle, And so I was like, man, but I felt at that point, I was like, I've limited myself. I placed myself into this box that feels that seems like I can only empower and speak to people within the pulpit. And I'm like, I've got to challenge that, because some of my beliefs they don't always line up to what people who would walk this path in the pulpit. So I've got to find, where is that path and what does it look like? And so what I realized was that lane, it wasn't one that was necessarily straight, but it's kind of like this. It's like this. It's like, it's authentic, right? So it looks very different and it feels very different. And it's not what I was told, that I was supposed to be, or what I thought I was supposed to be in following my father's footsteps. So, you'll get a little bit of that spiritual side. And also, but let's talk about the universe. And as Tiffany was speaking my language of, the universal law of what you give, you will receive. Everything that you place out there comes back to you. Yes, it's biblical and it's also new age. And we have to figure, how can we, the two of these, they can combine and for us to live an empowered and an authentic life, like really understanding the beings, the little guys that we are in the earth, and to be able to, just to command the attention and command all the things we need to live authentically. I believe when you do choose to walk into that place or to be who you know that you're desired, you've been designed to be, everything you need will be attracted to you. Absolutely everything you need. It's already out there. It's just waiting on you.
It's waiting on you to call it and then do it.
Call it in. Yes, sis. And that's what I love about you. One of the things, if you ever talk to Shanita, like just having a conversation, she is so thoughtful. Like she's going to sit there and kind of You know, you would think like, are you ignoring me or something? But I'm really paying attention to what you're saying. I'm really hearing it. And also let me hear if I'm hearing anything else, you know, paying attention to frequencies or whatever, what's going on. I love that about you. Just again, with this intentionality, I know we were over the steps, but make sure that you even deal with people who are big on intentions. You know what I mean? What are your intentions with being my friend? What are you trying to get out of this? You know, beyond just the other relationships, but even as a friend, what do you want out of this here?
And then know that it's okay for those relationships that don't serve you for your good, or
Yes.
a relationship where you can't serve the person for their good. It's okay to separate, and ain't no
True.
hard feelings.
None. We're good. Yeah, we're good. Um, Let me ask you this about, because when we were discussing living authentically, I thought about defining moments, like life's defining moments. I want to know for you, and I want you all to think about what are some moments that were just like, gosh, this was definitely a moment that it was huge for me. Can you think about those moments? I mean, I know we have a lot of them, but if there's just one in particular that you would like to recall, because this is me again with just believing in the beautiful signs of the universe and how God just speaks to us through so much. And I'm going to start this sharing off. When a couple of years ago, when I moved to Colombia and was really starting this faith walk of being a consultant and just going out trying to get to whatever it was that God had purposed me to do, it came with some challenge, and some of that challenge was monetary. So I began to look for my money. I began to kind of, as Shanita was saying, calling it in. So one day I was out at the bookstore, and this man was chasing me down, and he was like, ma'am, I need to give this to you. And by this time, you know, I'm no stranger to people placing gifts in my hands because it definitely happens. I attracted it. And he's like, I need to give this to you. And I was like, oh, bless you, sir. Thank you so much. He's like, yes, this is amazing. So he hands me this bag, and in the bag is this book, the book by Og Mandino, and it is The Greatest Salesman. The Greatest Salesman. I don't know if it's the greatest salesman ever or the greatest salesman. And I'm looking at the book and I'm like, wait a minute, where's the check? Where's the monies? Where is the what do you call that, money grant? Where, you know, where's the money? And here, huh? Yeah, thank you. Where is that, right? So, and all I have is this book, this little bit book, Og Mandino. And I was like, man, this is not it. This isn't right. He missed the memo, and I threw the book to the side. And it wasn't until I guess maybe some weeks later, I was like, all right, maybe the check is inside the book and I need to go and find it, because I heard a story about that one time too. And so, but I began to just kind of read the book, and it to date is one of the most powerful books that I've ever read, with a life message. And the moment was so defining for me that I find myself doing the same thing. I'm very careful to find out who is it that I am to bless, who is it that I need to give this to, and how can I be that person, you know, that's obedient to what it is that God has said to do. And also just being, so that someone can get that expectation of something that they've been sowing, and, you know, bam, here's your seed, it showed right back up. So what are those moments, defining moments? That's a surface one for me, but just give us one if you don't mind sharing. I know we have 5 minutes. Dang, Tom. What's yours, sis?
I would say the biggest thing that happened to me was the transition of my husband, and everything that encompassed. So before, so Bernard and I we did like these yearly goals, right? And at the top of our list for 2019 was to prepare for a 2020 exit from my place of employment, because the relationship between us, we were no longer really serving each other. You know, it was time for that, you know. And I didn't, and then he transitioned the following month. And so it was difficult to kind of navigate that space and to begin to walk and rebuild and just allow the Lord to begin to help me to navigate the grief. And then in that navigating and in that surrendering and just kind of letting the Lord envelop me, because I didn't know what to do, or where to walk or where to go or just kind of how to exist, he began to show me parts of myself that were so unique and beautiful, and said that, you see, these are things in you that you didn't even really want to acknowledge that is going to be, that I need from you. These are the parts of you that are your authentic self. And so I started to allow him to manifest those things in me, like on a day-to-day basis. I stopped being afraid, is really what happened. I stopped being afraid to be who God called me to be, because after I lost Bernard, I realized we just don't have time. We don't have like another, like, you know what, I'm gonna do all the things on my job in this life. And then when I retire from that job, then I'm gonna do what I really want to do. And
Absolutely.
that's not the way it works. It's not the way. And so I started to challenge myself to, well, the time that we have left, the time that you have left on this earth, you need to make it count, and you need to make you happy, instead of being in the roles and being in the roles and positions that you think that you're supposed to be in because you have other people counting on you.
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That is incredibly defining, sis. And you're aware every day.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I don't mind sharing really quickly. It won't
Thank
take
you,
me but a
Tiffany.
second. I was so used to, people probably won't believe it, but I used to try to be like other people. And it was exhausting to run against the grain of what you are supposed to be doing, chasing all of that that is not like you. And you find yourself, or I found myself, doing things that people weren't even doing. They're saying things they ain't even, and the beautiful thing about auto correcting is once you make that U-turn, uh, it stings a little bit, but the further you get down the road, you're picking back up who you were. And when I realized that me following these people is an abomination to the God I serve, because he put me here to be this, and I have to answer for that. And so I had to auto correct, because I'm afraid to die and I have not lived the way that I supposed to live. That scares me. Dying and I haven't done my purpose because I'm chasing someone else's. And what success may be to you is not success to me. And your definition of great and gold and rich and poor, that is subjective. So when I learned to about face and run back the way that I supposed to go, I didn't have to work for authenticity.
No.
I ran into it,
Sis.
and that's the beautiful thing about being authentic. People will receive you. God honors it, because it is a challenge, because we live in a world that tells us different. And I'm going to be quiet, but I often tell people I don't ever want to be like Jesus. I'm not willing to die for none of you. Not going to do it. But what I will do is I will follow his teachings. I will be kind. I will be courteous. I will be gentle. I will be honest, and I will seek the truth. But to do something that I know is impossible for me to do is going to kill me. So I run Tiffany's race. And I thank Jesus for running his and doing something that I would never do for people. And that's how I live my life. And that's how I live authentically. And perfection is not even a word I teach my children, because it kills the dream. It kills who you are designed to be, trying to be like something or someone that you were not destined to be like. There's a God in all of us. And he wants you to shine in the authenticity of what he has birthed in you on the day that you were born. And that is how I live my most authentic life. And that was, I'm telling you, I got pregnant at 15, running behind friends that weren't even having sex, weren't even doing it. And I got left out there. So I had to turn around very, very fast and run my own authentic race. And I've been running it ever since. And I'm not stopping to pick up nobody to run it with me.
Yes.
Very good, Tiffany. Very good.
What Tiffany said, you said about you can't be, that you don't teach perfection at your house. And that I read this quote by Brene Brown. She said that the cracks are where the lights come in, is where the light comes in.
So good.
You imperfection in itself is just such a beautiful state to be in, because you have to allow room for the light to come in and to make everything whole. You gotta let the Lord come in. This light covers it all.
So good. That's so good. But you know, I know we're over time and all it's okay. But when we are just not taught that, you know, we're not. And that's of course by the confines of this world. And again, it just speaks again to how we cannot conform to the patterns. We can't, not when you're living authentically. We definitely have to learn how to be transformed and to really get to that original state of who we were, you know, who we were in spiritual places before we touched here in this earthly realm. I'm outdone with that part. That was just beautiful to me. Thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Shanita, what are we looking like? What do you want us to do?
Real quick before we wrap up, does anyone have any books they would like to suggest on this journey of self-actualization and living your truth and authenticity? Oh, I do have one. Mine is beat up, but
It's beat up. Okay, what you got?
it looked like I read, like I've been reading like it 5 times, but really
I mean, let me go get my raggedy books, okay, since we're doing this.
it's The Gifts of Imperfection, and it's by Brene Brown.
Very good.
It blesses me. So she has some real good nuggets, and she has like this Netflix special that just talks about being vulnerable and allowing yourself, how vulnerability allows you to connect, and it taps right back into your authenticity. Because
Yes,
if you don't
ma'am.
know yourself, then you're not gonna share it with nobody else. So
Come on. Help us on tonight. Yes. All right, so that's one. My book, my nugget that I read, or I guess the two that I mentioned, one by Og Mandino, Greatest Salesman in the World, just really, really good read. And Gary Zukav, The Seat of the Soul. Just really understanding how to live an authentic life and understanding how to serve, as Tiffany said. I mean, I just feel like you're in my head or something, but about how do you live, like really understanding why you came here. You came to fulfill a purpose and to make sure that you're doing it. Nicole Steele once told me, you know, don't you dare die with all that God-given potential in you and not having used it all up. And I mean, just to say this, Shanita, what I absolutely love about Bernard is like, my God, the way that man lived life.
yeah.
You know. Okay, so anyone else, your book?
Yeah.
I went and grabbed some books.
You went and grabbed some books?
Well, my bookshelves are in front of me, so I was trying to go look. But you guys have said this a couple times, but I just wanted to wrap it up with a quote that Daniel's dad actually told me, which was, "Don't take it to the grave."
Hey.
I use that for everything in life, you know, whether it's your purpose or your calling or your spirit, your personality, whatever it is, it's not going with us. So
Don't take it to the grave.
Don't take it to the grave.
Yes.
Here, let it
yes.
go. So, couple books that I brought. She already mentioned Brene Brown. Did you say Braving the Wilderness already?
No, or did you said that one.
The other one. So, Braving the Wilderness is a great one. Daring Greatly, also by Brene, is a great one. The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes is very easy to read and a great one. And then this is a really good one too. It's just Find Your Glow and Feed Your Soul.
So, very good. Thank you, Oprah. Oprah's book club over there.
You're welcome.
Anyone else, some books you want to share?
No.
I have a book. This is CJ Sabatino.
CJ.
Hey, Carol.
Hey,
Share, tell us.
Undaunted. I can't think of the lady's name, but I think it could be Christine Cole. It's called Undaunted. Yeah, it's basically she came from very close to being sex trafficked or I can't say the word, but she was very close to that. And in her plight to save herself and others, she learned her ministry of serving one another and caring for one another and just being undaunted. I mean, because like you have to be fearless. For me, I've always been on an island by myself. Even when I'm in a church that's huge or whatever, I kind of stick to myself because it's like you don't want to fall into the mold of trying to be like someone else. You want to be your own authentic self, like the young lady was speaking about. I feel like I'm very genuine and compassionate, and then some things that I do are very quirky. So others may say, "Oh, she's weird," but yeah, I'm weird. I'm weird. I'm a weird cool, Yeah. And my 28-year-old say, "Mom, you so extra." No, I'm not. I'm just me, And I really pride myself on being courageous because of the Lord that's within me. And I was sharing with people yesterday. I went to Isle of Palm yesterday to the beach by myself because I'm spontaneous. And my kids are grown and I got an 8-year-old grandson. So I just took off, on my day off. And some people are like, "Ooh, you got a lot of nerve to go by yourself. And ooh, you're not going to have no fun." I'm like, look here. Yes, you will. You can people watch, just soak up the sun, enjoy the waves. And you can even get to know people. But I've been traveling by myself for the longest, ever since I've been divorced. You don't have to be so codependent on people. You can enjoy your own company.
Mm-hmm. And I think that goes back to knowing yourself and getting to know yourself, and
Right.
spending time with yourself, because it's so important. It's important to know and love yourself.
Right.
If you ever want to truly love somebody else and allow someone else to truly love you, because if you don't allow yourself to know who you are, then you certainly won't allow someone else to. So.
Agree with you.
But thank you for that, Carol. It's good to have you on the line.
Yes, we did that.
I know
Tara?
we're 10 minutes over. Did you have any last words, Tika?
Well, Tara just mentioned this quote: "You are deserving of everything you desire because you were born," by Oprah Winfrey. Hello, yes, ma'am. And so that reminds me of another book, Oprah's book, What I Know for Sure, What I Know for Certain, because Oprah's who led me to Gary Zukav. But Oprah, yeah, absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing that quote, Tara. My words would be, thank you so much for thinking of me, Shanita, and thank you for being an action-based person. Shanita and I talk often about podcasts and things of that sort. So when she mentioned it, I was like, "Girl, you ain't talk. We had no time." She's like, "No, remember what you said." And I'm like, "You doggone right. I am an action person. Let's jump in." I don't know how this is going to work out, but I'm so happy that Tonia thought enough of you, Shanita, and that you thought enough of me. Guys, I'm honored that you are on, that you didn't think it robbery of your time, your evening, to listen to us. And clearly there's a wealth of knowledge here. I feel we can always learn from everyone. And this is the last thing I want to say. One of my golden tokens that I use is a lesson that my son taught me when he was 9 years old, and just, being present. We were in our hometown, and I really wanted to go eat pizza at this buffet. And it was from 12 until 1. And I was like, "Zion, we have to get to this buffet." And he's like, "Okay," and so when the time came, it's like 11:50. I'm like, "All right, baby, let's get ready to go." He says, "Mom, wait, I have an interview. I have a job interview." He's 10 years old. He's like, "I got a job interview." And I was like, "No, you don't. We have a job interview because we have to get to this buffet." And so he's like, "No, my Roblox. I don't know if you guys know about Roblox, but it's a thing. It's a virtual thing." So we had a virtual job interview, and I need to get this pizza. And I'm like, boy, what is wrong with you? We got to go. You know, that old school parent. And something just came in me about being present. I said, okay, son, take the time, do your interview. His interview started at 12 o'clock, the virtual interview. And he comes out of the room 15 minutes later. And I'm kind of on the edge because I'm like, Mr. Buffet. And he's like, Mom, I didn't get the job. It's like, all right, baby, I'm so sorry. Can we go get the pizza? Go down there at Buffet because I like the Philly steak and cheese. And as we're eating, my 10-year-old says, Mommy, thank you so much for taking the time to let me do my interview. I know it's not a real job, but I appreciate you doing it. And immediately just brought tears to my eyes because you don't know, what you don't know. And when you make a conscious choice just to be there for your children, a conscious choice just to show up for people. I say this in all things, live authentically, especially those people who are in your spaces. So thank you, Shanita.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for being my guest. This is my first time ever doing anything like this. And I want to just thank Tonia again for thinking of me and for challenging me and for having the Lord use her to challenge me. Because I'll immediately say no. And then, all right, God, all right. Sometimes God's my daddy, but sometimes he my mama too. And she was like, all right, girl, now you said that you wanted to such and such. So I just appreciate the opportunity. The next episode will air on July 20th, which is exactly 2 weeks from today. So make sure that you keep in contact, that you keep in touch by liking Tonia's Facebook page, Tuesday Talks with Tonia, and make sure you subscribe to her YouTube page. She has a lot of great content and a lot of empowering information just for women, especially women of our hue, to just help us to live more freely. And I guess that's about it. So I thank you all. Thank y'all for joining me for this. I feel all special.
Good job, sis. You're amazing.
Here. God bless you all, and God bless the goddess inside of each of you. And know that you are radiant, and that even if you weren't radiant, which you all are, that worthiness is not a prerequisite for you to be loved. You're amazing. So you all have an amazing night.